Alright, so just to inform you, I've actually tried to get this video made 3 or 4 times now. The first time, weather's getting crazy outside. I have to run outside, make sure some stuff doesn't blow away. Second time, cat hops up behind me and is doing crazy things. I thought the third time I had it for sure, and then my phone starts making this crazy noise because the weather outside is crazy. They issued a flood alert. So this is like take 4. Anyways, to the point, this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about politics. I normally don't like talking about politics because it's a very charged issue for a lot of people, and it can be very sensitive, and a lot of people have a tendency to get most of their information from a particular news outlet that, I don't want to say is partial to a particular party, but I think most people are generally aware that certain news outlets are going to be a little bit more in favor of particular people or parties than others. So that actually has a lot to do with what I wanted to talk about. So this has nothing really to do with this candidate or this party or whatever. This more is to encourage, to advocate, to provoke people to maybe think a little bit differently, or ask questions they may have not otherwise asked. We're getting to a place in America where people are getting their information more and more from news sources and the candidate themselves. The internet is a wonderful tool, but it can also be really misleading, and then there's a lot of facts that go around that either aren't true or they're presented in a way that mislead people. I mean, I have studied law and criminal justice, and I really enjoy it and find it interesting. I've seen people circulate facts about, the number of black people who commit crimes versus the number of white people, for example, and the way that the information is presented really is outright wrong in many ways, and it's also very misleading. So I'm hoping that this video will kind of give people an idea of maybe a better way to approach politics, maybe a better way to evaluate who they want to vote for, rather than just saying something along the lines of, are they pro-choice or whatever. Those are certainly valuable issues, and a lot of people vote based on the person they think will best represent their interests. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, that largely is what's involved. But there's other aspects as well. Thinking about if a person is elected, what's that going to look like for the country in 10 or 15 years? Decisions made now will have a ripple effect. Small decisions that are made now may have really substantial repercussions 20 years from now. So, I'm not a really advanced in years person. I'm still a little bit younger, but I know that young people in general have a tendency to kind of look at the now, or maybe a few years out, and not necessarily what is this going to mean for my kids and my grandkids. What are these policies? What this person is advocating? What is that going to mean in the future, right? So to start off, history. Look at history. Read history, not just the history or the track record of the person you're thinking about voting for. That is valuable, obviously. But history. Read about the founding fathers and the founding of this country and things like that, because that matters now. That matters very much. I was having a conversation with a lawyer a little while ago, and I asked him his thoughts on the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and if it should be like a watertight document, or if he thinks that it should be changed, if that should be allowed. And I was actually kind of surprised that he favored more along the lines of being open to change. That kind of surprised me. But this is your country. These are your rights. This is your constitution. This is your future and your family's future. So to not understand these things is forfeiting, in a sense, your rights, because people can tell you whatever they want to tell you, and if you don't know any better, you can be like, okay. The same way that if a police officer was to pull you over and they were violating your constitutional rights, if you don't know that, you have no way to make sure that those rights are upheld and enforced. So look at history. For example, right now we have the two prominent parties, the Republican Party and the Democrat Party. And George Washington, for example, wow, that weather's getting crazy. George Washington, for example, in his farewell address, I believe as he was leaving office, actually more or less warned of political parties, how him understanding the nature of people and of politics, he warned against a system that would be dominated by two parties, for example. So that matters now. It matters to go back and see George Washington was a great man, obviously. What did he warn against? What did he encourage? And not everything is going to be right, but it provides a lot of insight to understand what's happening now. Go further back in history. If you are a person who is fairly interested in politics and what's going on in our country, and you want to be informed, and you want to make a wise vote and such, go further back in history. Our country was largely founded in many ways on Rome and Greece. We took a lot of the Republican aspects of our country from Rome, and a lot of our democratic ideas and institutions from Greece. So if you understand, for example, what that looked like originally, it helps you to better understand what they were shooting for, right? Everything about our country is rooted in the past somehow. The founding fathers were very, very intelligent, sharp guys. It did a lot of homework on what's the best way to set this thing up. A good example, go back and read Plato's Republic. That book is incredibly relevant right now, incredibly relevant. If you haven't read The Republic, I don't know if you can hear that thunder, that's loud. If you haven't read The Republic, go back and read it. That's incredibly relevant right now. And I think you'll really be shocked at the things that Plato says, and just how on point, almost to the point where it seems like he's predicting the future, sort of thing. But those are some good things to read, all right? And understand that within politics, we always want to believe the best about people. At least I do. I have a tendency to really want to believe the best about people. But in order to be prudent, it's good to do your homework, right? Don't take anything that somebody is saying as granted, or, the cold, hard truth. Look into it. If somebody is saying that they're going to do this thing, go see if they've done something similar in the past, or a lot of the time if they've done something contrary, right? Investigate. when we elect somebody, we're investing in that person, right? If you're going to invest in something money-wise, you would do your homework, you would do your research, and find out, what is this company's track record? Are they an honest company? Do they have a bunch of lawsuits? And very likely, if the company isn't trustworthy, you're not going to vote for them. They're invest in them, I guess. But research, right? That's crazy. Research. Do your homework. The internet is an amazing tool, and you can find out a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. And make an educated decision, right? We may not be able to pick somebody who's perfect, but we can try to pick somebody who is the best, not just for us, not just for now, but for the future, for our grandkids, so forth and so on. Okay. Let's see. There's one more thing. Escaping my mind now. Okay, well, last thing kind of escaped my mind. I think I may make a follow-up video to this with a couple of more points. Try to keep this one a little bit short, and hopefully the craziness outside there doesn't interrupt this too much or be too distracting. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and leave them below. Follow the channel, that's always cool, and read some books, get educated, and yeah, I remembered what the point is. I will make a second video, so tune in for that.